So yesterday it was announced that the Minnesota prosecutors they're gonna turn down this opportunity to file charges in the murder of Amir Locke. In case you guys forgot, he is the 22-year-old black man that was shot while sleeping on a friend's couch as cops busted in with a no-knock warrant, and within seconds decided to open fire on him. So again, they're not gonna file charges in this case after all that went down, after the video evidence, after everything. Usually, at least when we saw maybe body cam come out, it'd be something that we knew was gonna go down, but it's not. So his mother, as you can imagine, is very upset about this, and she took to a press conference yesterday to talk about this decision.
If you had time to kick a couch 2 times, not one, but twice, you had time to de-escalate the situation of my melanin black son.
My Lord.
Now, you're gonna have to deal with me. I've never been Minnesota nice, and I'm not from Minnesota. And I said that from the first day that I stepped soil on that city. I am not Minnesota nice. You got something different right here. I'm from a different state. We stand up, we speak up. This is who his mother is. I'm not going nowhere.
Definitely some righteous anger there as they've decided not to do this, and she's going nowhere. Never been Minnesota nice. She's not gonna start now. You can imagine the emotions that she's going through after determining and seeing that this is happening, and she has come out with this kind of anger. Now, I'm not sure if we're expecting tears and melancholy, but you know what? People respond differently, and I hope they get it. I hope there's some light comes to this. More people talk about it, because this is the constant thing. This is when people talk about our systems in the country. We saw what went down, we saw it happened, and the result usually ends in something like this, but then we have anger instead. So let's go to what exactly did happen to Amir again. Again, this is a very graphic footage if you guys had seen before, but this is what has his mother this upset, and the fact that they're not filing charges. Watch again.
After police quietly unlocked this Minneapolis apartment, then startled and killed Amir Locke, who was under a blanket sleeping on a couch and reached for his gun. Today, state officials announced the officer who fired his weapon, Mark Hanneman, will face no criminal charges.
To charge a case like this would simply be wrong.
After a 2-month review and now the promised release of all body cameras, including Hanneman's, investigators say the officer followed the law after video shows Locke holding his registered gun aimed toward Hanneman, though his finger was not on the trigger. Hanneman told investigators, "I felt if I did not use deadly force, I would likely be killed."
It would be unethical for us to file charges in a case in which we know that we will not be able to prevail.
The officer felt that if he didn't fire his weapon, he would be killed. Maybe they shouldn't be running up in the middle of the night in houses where people would be startled and not know who this is screaming, "Dun, dun, 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 dun." I'm not sure how that could really translate into them thinking is the officers or this is anything that's legit and it's on the up and up. So I think when it comes to this whole Second Amendment rights talk, that would probably fall under when you don't know who's running up in the house. Anyway, let's go to the details of why they figure that this isn't an issue worth charging anyone over. Attorney General Keith Ellison and Hennepin County Attorney Michael Freeman, whose offices reviewed the case, said Locke might never have been shot if not for the no-knock warrant. But they said there was insufficient evidence to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Hanneman violated the state statute governing when police can use deadly force. Sounds a bit arbitrary to me. It would be unethical for us to file charges in a case in which we know that we will not be able to prevail because the law does not support the charges, is what Ellison said. The family, like us, are very frustrated with no-knock warrants. They, like us, believe that if a no-knock warrant hadn't been used, Amir Locke might well be here today, is what Freeman said. He declined to give further details about that conversation. And also that same officer that did shoot Amir Locke is still on the force. They issued a statement from Interim Chief Amelia Huffman, and it said that Officer Hanneman returned to active duty February 28th and is no longer on a SWAT team. She did not comment directly on Hanneman's actions, but said officers never want to face split-second decisions that end in the loss of life. I hear you. So if Hanneman's off of Francesca, if he's off of these now SWAT teams and he's still on the force and has been charged, but the process is we're gonna continue with these no-knock warrants where your name doesn't have to be Officer Hanneman, it could be Officer Smith, Jones, Williams, anything, that's the process. It's roll over, find the guy, hey, we're in danger, go to shooting.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, to say you're not gonna prosecute and then not assume responsibility for a policy failure that consistently puts police officers in a situation where they are basically about to shoot anyone who does anything when they knock in that door. The last year, Minneapolis said it wasn't going to do any more no-knock warrants. This was in February. Since it said it wasn't going to do them, 90 no-knock warrants have been approved in Minneapolis. So what gives? What, are we just not following our own policy here? Because that's what it looks like. And I'm sorry, but for those of you who hadn't seen that footage, honestly, in what world are 5 or 4 or however many men were part of that SWAT team dressed in complete like bulletproof gear, head to toe, helmets, goggles, sniper? In what world are they under more threat than Amir Locke is under a blanket, having just been woken up when they knocked in the door? Like, I'm sorry, you're bad police. You know what I mean? This whole thing about maybe we need more training, maybe we need different training. Like, how are you not able to disarm someone if there's that many guns, if you know you have an open carry policy in your country? And in your state. It's just insane. And I don't know, I mean, look, I think their race played a huge part of this, but we've also seen people who are not necessarily black who also have been killed for holding guns. You know what I mean? So it's just like, what are we doing now? What are we doing with open carry?
The process is protect them, don't protect anyone else. Let's continue to, again, even to the point of if you care about your officers and their safety and whether or not they can get shot when they run in and no-knock warrants at 2 a.m. If you're concerned about their lives, which apparently they're saying they do, stop putting them in these situations where you're expecting them to either get shot or be shot.
Yes.
Whether it's gonna be true or not, because Breonna Taylor wasn't shooting at anyone. Just saying, we're gonna continue this though. And they, you know why? Because they don't think enough people in society are gonna push back on it or care enough about these victims.